Hello, welcome back sa ating video tutorial sa mathematics. So, ngayon ay pag-aaralan naman natin ang tungkol sa different laws of exponents. Sa video tutorial na ito ay itong mga laws of exponents na ito ang ating pag-aaralan. One is ang zero exponent, second, negative exponent, third, product of powers, fourth, power of a power, fifth, power of a product, sixth, quotient of powers, and seventh, we have power of a quotient. Alright, so yung first natin na pag-aaralan ay ang zero exponent. So what we have here is an equation n raised to 0 equals 1 na ang ibig sabihin ay any expressions or any non-zero number raised to 0 is equal to 1. So, for example, if we have here 2 raised to 0, then that would be equal to 1. If you have here quantity negative 4 raised to 0, that is also equal to positive 1. If we are given here the quantity xy raised to 0, that is also equal to 1. And if we have here negative 4 raised to 0, so this one here is equal to negative 1. Now, kung mapapansin niyo dito sa ating pang-apat na example, ang answer natin dito ay negative value since ang ating negative dito na sign is not part doon sa ating expression na ni-raise sa 0. So that is why na-retain yung ating sign dito na negative 1 as compared to the previous given na quantity negative 4 to raise to 0. So yung buong negative 4 na yun yung naka-raise sa 0. That is why the answer here is positive 1. Ngayon naman ay pag-aaralan natin ang tungkol sa negative exponent. Now, given the expression n raised to negative 1, this is just equal to 1 over n. Meaning to say, kung meron tayong expression or kung meron tayong number na kung saan ang kanyang exponent ay negative 1, then ang equivalent nito ay yung kanyang reciprocal. So for example, if we have 2 raised to negative 1, then pag kinuha natin yung reciprocal ng 2, ang answer ay 1/2. At kung meron naman tayong given na m raised to negative 2, so pag kinuha natin yung reciprocal nito, magkakaroon tayo ng result na 1 over m squared. At kung ang given naman natin ay 2 over x raised to negative 3, pag kinuha natin yung reciprocal ni x raised to negative 3, magkakaroon tayo ngayon ng 2x cubed. Ang next naman natin na pag-aaralan ay ang product of powers. Sa product of powers, meron tayong form na x raised to m times x raised to n is equal to x raised to m plus n. So, ibig sabihin yan sa product of powers, pag the same yung ating base, ang gagawin lang natin ay kokopihin natin yung ating common base and then i-add natin yung ating exponent. For example, kung meron tayong 4 squared times 4 cubed, since the same yung ating base dito, which is yung 4, kokopihin lang natin siya, and then i-add natin yung ating exponents na 2 and 3. So this will give us 4 raised to 5, which is equal to 1024. Para naman sa ating next na example, given that we have here 3m raised to 5 times 2m raised to 7, so ang gagawin natin dito ay multiply muna natin yung ating mga numbers na 3 and 2, and then doon naman natin sa m raised to 5 and m raised to 7, i-apply natin yung kagaya nung nasa taas. So sa result, meron tayo ditong 6 or 3 times 2 times m raised to 5 plus 7, and that will give us 6m raised to 12. Para naman sa ating third example, meron tayong 7x raised to 5y times 3xy raised to 7. So ganun uli ang ating gagawin. Multiply muna natin yung 7 and 3, and then para naman sa ating x, kokopihin natin yung exponents natin dito, which is yung 5 and 1. Kung mapapansin ninyo, sa ating second na variable x dito, wala siyang nakalagay na exponent, so ang ibig sabihin niyan ay meron itong exponent na 1. Isa sa mga common errors ng mga estudyante ay pag wala silang nakikitang exponent dito, kino-consider nila na ang exponent ng variable na yon ay 0, which is mali. So, in this case here, meron tayong x raised to 5 plus 1. At para naman sa y, ganun din, since walang nakalagay dito na exponent ng y, ibig sabihin niya ng exponent nito ay 1, and then yung pangalawang y natin ang exponent niya ay 7. And simplifying this one, magkakaroon tayo ngayon ng result na 21, x raised to 6, y raised to 8. Para naman sa ating next na law of exponent, pag-uusapan natin ang tungkol sa power of a power. Sa power of a power ay meron tayong form na x raised to m, quantity raised to n, is equal to x raised to m times n. So dito sa power of a power, ang gagawin lang natin ay kukupihin natin yung ating base and then i-multiply natin yung ating exponents dito. So makikita natin dito yung ating exponent sa loob na m ay minultiplyan natin siya ng ating exponent na nasa labas which is yung n. For example, kung meron tayong 2 cube raised to 3, so pag sinimplify natin ito, this is equal to 2 raised to 3 times 3. So makikita natin dito na yung dalawang exponents natin dito na 3 and 3 ay minultiply lang natin. And then magiging result niyan ay 2 raised to 9 which is equal to 512. At para naman sa ating next na example, if you have here m raised to 5 and then quantity raised to 12, so the same yung ating gagawin. Kukupihin natin yung ating base which is yung m and then yung ating namang exponent dito na 5 ay multiply natin siya ng 12. So this will give us m raised to 60. Ngayon naman ay pag-uusapan natin ang next na law of exponent which is yung power of a product. Sa power of a product, we have here the form x raised to m times y raised to n quantity raised to p. So ang gagawin lang natin dito sa exponent na nasa labas which is yung p ay i-distribute natin siya dito sa exponent na nasa loob. So we have here x raised to m times p and then yung y naman natin we have here m times p. So for example, we have here 2 squared times m raised to 5 quantity cube. So, ang gagawin natin dito ay i-distribute natin yung exponent natin na 3 sa loob. So, magkakaroon tayo ngayon ng 2 raised to 2 times 3 and then m raised to 5 times 3. So, pan-simplifying yung part na ito, so magkakaroon tayo ng 2 raised to 6 m raised to 15. And then 2 raised to 6 is equal to 64. Then kukupihin natin yung ating sa literal coefficient na part. Another example, if you have here 4m raised to 5n quantity squared, so ganun uli yung gagawin natin dito. Ang 4 ay wala naka-indicate na exponent. So ibig sabihin niya ng exponent ng 4 ay 1. And then yung n din natin dito ay walang naka-indicate na exponent. So ibig sabihin niya ng exponent din niya ay 1. So applying yung ating power of a product, distribute natin yung ating exponent na 2 na nasa labas. So magkakaroon tayo ngayon ng 4 raised to 1 times 2, m raised to 5 times 2, and n raised to 1 times 2. So simplifying this one, this will give us 16 m raised to 10 n squared. Ngayon naman ay pag-aaralan natin ang tungkol sa quotient of powers. Sa quotient of powers, if we have the form x raised to m over x raised to n, then this is equal to x raised to m minus n for m which is greater than n. Or if our n is greater than m, then we will have here 1 over x raised to n minus m following the law of negative exponent na na-discuss na natin kanina. So for example, if you have here 4x raised to 5 over 2x squared, so una muna natin gagawin is i-divide muna natin yung 4 and then yung 2. So that will give us an answer which is 2. And then para naman doon sa ating x raised to 5 over x squared, since the same yung ating base, so kukupihin lang natin yung common base natin na x and then isa-subtract natin yung ating exponents which is yung 5 and 2. So this will give us 2x cubed. For our next example, we have here 12y raised to 12 over 15y raised to 15. So when we simplify this one, for 12 and 15, we can reduce this one to lowest term by dividing it by 3. So 12 divided by 3 is 4, and then for 15 divided by 3, that will give us 5. And then para sa ating variable sa denominator natin siya ilalagay kasi mas mataas yung exponent nung nasa denominator compared nung nasa ating numerator. So this will give us y raised to 15 minus 12 in our denominator. Once we simplify this one, magkakaroon tayo ng answer na 4 over 5y cubed. At ang last na law of exponent na ating pag-uusapan ay ang power of a quotient. So we have here the form x raised to m over y raised to n, quantity raised to p. So kagaya ng ginawa natin kanina sa power of a product, didistribute lang natin yung ating exponent na nasa labas sa exponent nung nasa loob natin na expressions. So in this case here, magkakaroon tayo ngayon ng x raised to m times p over y raised to n times p. For example, if you have here x raised to 5 over y raised to 7, quantity raised to 10, So, didistribute lang natin yung ating exponent na 10 sa ating expressions na nasa loob. So, this will give us x raised to 5 times 10 over y raised to 7 times 10. And then this will give us x raised to 50 over y raised to 70. So, itong part na ito, we cannot simplify this one anymore kasi magkaiba na yung ating base dito. So, hindi natin pwedeng pagsamahin yan. Sa atin namang next na example, we have here 2x squared y over 3z raised to 4, quantity raised to 4. So, ganun uli yung ating gagawin. Take note uli na yung 2 natin dito ay wala siyang exponent na naka-indicate. So, ibig sabihin yan, meron niyang exponent na 1. Yung ating y ay wala din naka-indicate na exponent. So, ibig sabihin niya, ang exponent din yan ay 1. Yung ating 3 dito, wala din siya naka-indicate. So, 1 din yung kanyang exponent. So, once we distribute yung ating exponent na 4 galing sa labas, so magkakaroon tayo ng result na 2 raised to 4, x raised to 2 times 4, and y raised to 1 times 4. Divided by 3 raised to 4 times z raised to 4 times 4. So, when we simplify this one, 2 raised to 4 is equal to 16. And then yung x natin dito, ang exponent natin is 2 times 4, which will give us 8. And then yung y naman natin, ang exponent natin ay 1 times 4, so that will give us y raised to 4. At sa atin namang denominator, we have here 3 raised to 4, which is equal to 81. And then yung atin namang z ay magkakaroon tayo dito ng exponent na 16 because we have z raised to 4 times 4. For the last part of this video tutorial, please simplify the following applying the different laws of exponent na na-discuss natin kanina. I-pause nyo muna yung video while answering, and then pagkatapos ninyong magsagot ay pwede na ninyong i-play para makita ninyo yung mga tamang answers. Start. For number 1, the answer is 2y over x cubed. For number 2, the answer is 63x raised to 4y raised to 11. For number 3, the answer is y raised to 12 over 2x raised to 5. And for number 4, the answer is 4x raised to 8, y raised to 10.